In this endless stream of images that we exist in a world where kids are growing up where their entire visual landscape is bought and sold and entirely co-opted, you can either have an acquiescent and passive approach to it and sort of enjoy the spectacle, or you can try to confront it in some way.
In American society where art isn't a part of people's lives, I feel like I'm almost on a mission to bring art back to people.
And now the end is near.
Everywhere I looked, I saw billboards, so I just kind of hijacked billboards to put my art on and to use that as a vehicle to reach the public.
This is clear.
I'm petrified of heights. I don't like getting arrested and I don't like falling, so it's probably the wrong thing for me to be doing.
I've lived a life that's full, pirating billboards down each and every highway, and more than this. I did them my way, and more than this. I did it.
If you want to talk about freedom of expression, and you want to talk about free speech in America, then that's exactly what Ron English Billboard is all about.
Initially, the billboards I did were very surrealistic in nature, and they were intended as works of art given away free to the public. And later, as I became more political and more aware politically, it just seemed like such a great thing to start adding some politics into the billboards instead of just trying to present my art, but actually use that as a form to express some ideas. So I would just take like whatever tagline they would put on something and then make some image that would contradict their tagline.
Is a very powerful force in America today, and I just love the fact that we've got Ron going up against that.
Legally, I don't have the right to do this, but I do, as a proponent of free speech, have an obligation to do this. And I think what a lot of people don't understand, especially in a capitalist society, is the corporations always argue he's infringing on our rights to free speech. We paid money for those billboards. We own those billboards. He is infringing our right to free speech. Corporate speech and free speech are two different things. Corporations don't deserve free speech. People deserve free speech.
I think that is a good advertisement. Yeah, because kids will look at it and they go, oh, yeah. And they'll laugh at the cigarettes. You got to put more of them up, though.
I agree with it 100%.
Does it surprise you that this is illegal?
Excuse me?
Putting out this kind of billboard?
Really?
Oh, yes.
No, I think they should legalize that.
Where I really see the destructiveness of advertising is the direct marketing to children. And it's something that I would have been able to tune out if I were not a parent. What I see the kids being drawn into is just horrible. Ron's been at the forefront of a movement of sort of a grassroots take back the media and take back the message. He went after Joe Camel with a ferocity that I think, I have no way to know because they're not going to admit it, but I think that the ferocity with which he went after Joe Camel had a direct effect on the demise of Joe Camel as a spokesman for the company.
Ron English, if you're out there, I've got a bone to pick with you. I am not the least bit happy about some of the things that you do. More specifically, you put me on your guerrilla billboards. Now I'm on my boss's list. You're gonna have to pay for almost getting me fired. My name is Joe Camel, and it's Ron English, 'cause you're trying to ruin my gig. I don't know why you're so bent out of shape. I'm just trying to sell some cigarettes to some kids. I'm just trying to sell some cigarettes to some kids. Oh yeah.
But what was happening with Camel was they were losing the 14-year-olds because they couldn't relate to their icon, which was this 40, 50-year-old world adventurer guy, which doesn't mean anything to a little kid. You know, it's like there's this guy canoeing around the world and climbing mountains and stuff. But you know, these are little kids they're trying to pitch to, and they realized that they were losing them. So they thought, well, they had him meet a younger version of himself, and they thought, well, this guy will have speedboats instead of canoes and racing cars. And it still didn't work. They still couldn't capture the youth market. They were still like this old man cigarette, and basically their clientele was dying off. And I think, you know, in a last-ditch kind of effort, you know, a very aggressive, freaky effort, they actually created a cartoon character called Joe Camel and used that cartoon character to try to hook children on smoking. And I was so freaked out when they did that. I just couldn't believe they were doing that. And I was so freaked out. I just thought, you know, I'm just gonna push this to the next level. I'm just gonna, you know, they have a cartoon character, you know, playing pool and doing like adult things, but they know that cartoon character is gonna appeal to kids, and I just want people to get mad. I want them to get so mad, and so I just started making Joe Camel like a little baby, holding a pacifier in one hand and a cigarette in the other, you know, and I pounded away at them, and I pounded away with them in New York City, and the billboards were constantly photographed, and they went around the world, and you know, I drove those guys crazy, man. They hated me. But in the end, you know, when was the last time you saw a billboard with Joe Camel?